So, what if the key to a really meaningful life wasn't some complex philosophy, but was actually hidden in the simple, ancient art of archery? Well, that's the beautiful idea behind Paulo Coelho's book, The Archer. It's not just a story, it's this incredible guide to living with purpose, where everything, the archer, the bow, the arrow, and the target, is a powerful metaphor for our own journey. Okay, just picture this for a second. You're looking at a deep chasm. There's a river raging below, and you've got this frayed rope bridge just swaying in the wind. And right in the middle of all that chaos, a master archer is standing, totally calm, about to take a shot. This image from the book, man, it's not just about physical balance. It's about mental strength. It gets right to the heart of the book's message. Real mastery isn't about performing when everything's perfect. It's about finding your focus right in the middle of risk and uncertainty. And that image, it really makes you ask, right? What does it really mean to be a master at something? Is it just about having flawless technique? Being able to do something perfectly over and over again? Or is it something deeper, something that goes beyond just skill and gets into a state of being, an inner calm that you can't really measure? This is the big question the archer wants us to explore. So our story kicks off not in some grand archery field, but in a simple carpenter's workshop. This is where we meet a quiet master named Tetsuya, who's about to get a visit from a very determined challenger. And this showdown, it's not just a test of skill. It's a clash between two totally different ideas of what it means to be the best. A stranger shows up in this little village, and you can tell by the long bag he's carrying, he's not there for carpentry. He's looking for Tetsuya, a man who people whisper is the greatest archer alive, but who now just lives a quiet life as a carpenter. The stranger has one single goal, to prove that he's the one who's achieved perfection. He pretty much scoffs at Tetsuya, saying he can't be the best if he's abandoned his art. This guy has traveled for days, completely obsessed with this one moment. So let's break down what happens. The challenger's shot is, it's amazing. He's got perfect form, and from 40 meters away, on solid ground, he splits a single tiny cherry. It's a breathtaking display of pure technical skill. But then Tetsuya, the master, he leads him to that swaying rope bridge. From half the distance, he aims at a much bigger target, a peach. The challenge here isn't about hitting a tiny target, it's about mastering your own mind while everything around you is unstable. Of course, the challenger, now he's trembling on this unstable bridge, and he misses. And this is where Tetsuya drops the first huge lesson of the book. He says, you have skill, dignity, and posture, but you have not mastered your mind. The archer cannot always choose the battlefield. And that's the whole point right there. Mastery isn't just about what you can do. It's about who you are while you're doing it. So the stranger leaves totally humbled, his whole idea of perfection just shattered. But there's a young boy from the village who saw the whole thing, and he gets it. He knows he just saw true mastery. So he goes up to Tetsuya and begs him to teach him. And this is where the heart of the book really opens up. Tetsuya agrees and starts to explain the way of the bow, not as a bunch of techniques, but as a deep philosophy for life itself. First up, the bow. Tetsuya says the bow is your life. It's where all your energy, your potential, and your strength comes from. But think about it. If you keep a real bow strung tight forever, what happens? It warps, it gets weak, it loses all its power. Well, our lives are exactly the same. Constant pressure without any rest doesn't make us stronger. It just breaks us. The book teaches us that our life bow needs periods of rest to stay strong. And this is important. A bow doesn't have a conscience. It's just an extension of your will, which means you have a huge responsibility to be clear about what you're pouring your life's energy into. So if the bow is your life, what's the arrow? That's your intention. It's that focused thought that connects the strength of your life to your goal. And that intention has to be crystal clear, straight, and balanced, without any doubt or distraction. And this is critical. Once you let that arrow fly, you can't call it back. Its path is set. This teaches us the weight of our commitments, but also the wisdom to just pause and not act if our intention doesn't feel right. And finally, we have the target. That's our goal, our objective. And the philosophy here is all about personal responsibility. You can't blame the target if you miss. Nope, you chose it. You're responsible for the entire process. We have to approach our goals not as something to conquer, but as something to respect and understand. In a way, the book suggests the target almost calls to the arrow because it's our intention that gives it meaning in the first place. Okay, so we've got the tools, right? Our life, our intention, our goal. But then Tetsuya explains that you don't walk this path alone, and it's not all about external focus either. The journey of the archer needs support from allies on the outside and a really strong sense of self on the inside. It's about how we connect to the world around us and the world within us. Now, Tetsuya's description of a true ally is, well, it's not what you'd expect. He says, don't go looking for people who seem perfect, who never fail. Instead, you should surround yourself with people who aren't afraid to mess up, who take risks, who fall down and get hurt, and then get right back up again. These are people who are open, adaptable, and this is the best part, they have genuine joy in their eyes. Why? Because that joy is contagious, and when you're facing challenges, it's a powerful weapon against fear. So along with our allies, we have to work on our own inner posture. And I don't just mean how you physically stand. We're talking about the inner calm and elegance you bring to your goals. It's a whole state of mind. That serenity comes from the heart, from knowing that if you follow the path correctly, you can do your best work, even if you're feeling insecure or full of doubt. The serenity leads to elegance. But again, we're not talking about superficial, look-at-me elegance. True elegance is what's left over after you've stripped away everything that's unnecessary. It's the beauty of just simplicity and deep concentration. The book compares it to snow, which is beautiful because it only has one color. The more focused and simple our inner state is, the more beautiful and effective our actions become. All right, so you've got your life energy in the bow, you've got your clear intention in the arrow, you've got your respected target, your allies, and that inner stance of calm elegance. Now, all of these things come together in one single crucial action, the moment of release. The perfect shot is basically a form of active meditation. First, as you draw the string, you feel your body and mind working together in one smooth motion. Second, you see the target, but you also see everything around it. The wind, the air, the distance. You understand it all. Third, you find that almost magical point of inspiration where the bow, the archer, and the target all become one. And finally, with total trust, you just let go. You open your hand. That moment of release is the ultimate act of trust. You've done the work. You've prepared your mind. Now you have to trust the process and let your intention fly. And the book makes a really important distinction here. There's the shot made with precision, but no soul. That's just routine. And then there's the shot made with your soul. And that becomes an encounter with who you really are. And all of this leads us to the final and maybe the most profound teaching from Tetsuya. This whole thing, this way of the bow, it's not a destination. It's not a trophy you win and put on a shelf. It's something else entirely. As Tetsuya finishes his lesson, the story comes full circle. We see the master passing his wisdom to the young boy, not as a strict set of rules, but as the beginning of a lifelong practice. See, the goal was never just to hit the target. It was to keep walking the path, to find meaning in the process itself. Every single shot, whether you hit or miss, is a new lesson. It's a life in miniature. And it all comes down to this powerful idea. You just keep going. You use the bad days, the misses, to figure out what makes you afraid. And you use the good days, the perfect shots, to find your path to inner peace. But you never, ever stop practicing. The way of the bow, the path of a meaningful life, it just doesn't have an end. Look, the amazing metaphors in The Archer aren't just for archers. They're for all of us, whether you're a baker, an artist, a parent, an entrepreneur, really anyone who's trying to live with purpose and grace. It just invites us to see our own lives through this really clear, powerful lens. So I'll leave you with this to think about. The way of the bow is a life's journey. So what's your next target?